Okay, I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Word to do a few things in mathematics to enhance your instruction. So in particular, I'll be showing you how to make a worked example for a Pythagorean theorem problem using Word. There's three things I'm going to show you. One is the rotating and grouping tools. Second is how you can make some invisible text boxes to label your work clearly so that the work is actually in the figure as opposed to below the figure. And the third thing is some of the math add-ins. Okay, so first of all, let's say I have a triangle here, but say I didn't have any of these other labels. It's just triangle, right? One of the first things I want to do is get a right triangle symbol down here, and the way I want to do that is just insert a little square. Okay, and make it a little more visible. We'll make it orange, and we'll change it so that it's exactly a square. Okay, so I don't necessarily want every example I give the students to have the hypotenuse be in the upper right hand side. So if I rotate it, okay, the problem is my little triangle didn't rotate with it. So what I'm going to do is click on the triangle, hold on the control button, click on the triangle, click on the square and the triangle, right click and group it. Now when I grab that rotation, it's going to go ahead and rotate both parts. Okay, and so I can make the hypotenuse be on whichever side I want. So I'll leave it right there for now. Okay, so we got a right triangle with a right angle symbol. So that's grouping and rotation. The second thing I'm going to show you is text boxes and formatting to make them invisible. So let's say I want to label this as 10 centimeters. You know, that's not so bad. And then maybe I want to have this be x, but then now it gets it's a little tougher to type it exactly in where you want it. So I want to make a text box instead so I can place the location of the label with a little more accuracy. So I'm going to insert a text box. There we go, just a simple one. And we'll call this 10 centimeters. Okay, so let's say I want to put that here. The only problem is it's kind of covering up the triangle, and the second problem is you see how it has this sort of showing this lines around the box. Sometimes the students get a little confused. They think that's actually a part of the figure. So we don't want that. We just want the number, nothing else. So I want to right click on this, click on Format Shape, and there's two things. I'm going to change the fill to no fill, which will make it transparent, and line color, no line color, so those lines around the outside are gone. And now you can see all it is just sort of a number floating there, and the box itself is invisible. So I'll make some copies of that. We'll call this 8 centimeters, and we'll call this guy X. Alright, so there you go. It's a good looking right triangle, 10, 8, and X. Alright, lastly I want to show you some of the math add-ins to write formulas and solve equations. So this tab, you have to go ahead and go to office.com and do a search for math add-ins, and then you can install that add-in. And there's a couple things you can do. One is you can write equations, which actually comes with Word normally. So here's Pythagorean theorem equation. Well, it looks like our A is 8. So make that an 8. And our B is 10. Got 10. And our C would be X. So we can make that let's make that an X. Okay. And then the neat thing about the add-in is it will solve equations for you. So if I right click on this, it'll say compute, and it'll say solve for X. And there it goes. It tells me X is equal to 2 square root of 41, or X is equal to negative 2 square root of 41. And again, that's part of the add-ins here. It'll compute, it'll calculate, it'll solve, does some different algebra tools. It's pretty neat calculation tool as part of Microsoft Word. Okay, that's my presentation on some different tools you can use in Microsoft Word.